الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضى. يا ربي لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وخليله، بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الله به الغمة وجاهد في سبيل ربه حتى أتاه اليقين. فاللهم اجزه عنا وعن والدينا وعن الإسلام والمسلمين خير ما جازيت به نبيا عن قومه ورسولا عن أمته. اللهم احينا على سنته وتوفنا على ملته وأوردنا حوضه واسقنا من يده الشريفة شربة هنيئة لا نظمأ بعدها أبدا. ثم أما بعد, my dear respected brothers and sisters, we are still talking about the inward and the outward, and the beautiful dua of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma ja'al sirri khayran min alaniyati waj'al alaniyati khayran. Oh Allah, make my secret better than my apparent condition, and make my apparent condition righteous. And we mentioned that al-ikhlas, or sincerity, which is the act of the heart, one of the secrets we have in our hearts, nobody knows except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is the spirit of any good deeds. And I mentioned last Friday that in the Day of Judgment there will be good surprises and bad surprises. I just mentioned one of them. And today we'll talk about some examples of these good and bad surprises. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about al-qiyamah, إِذَا وَقَعَتِ الْوَاقِعَةِ لَيْسَ لِوَقَعَتِهَا كَاذِبَةٌ خَافِضَةٌ رَافِعَةٌ, which means that the Day of Judgment, or al-waqi'ah, will raise some people up, and it will also bring others down. Some people who are up in this dunya will be down in al-akhirah, and some are down in this dunya will be up in al-akhirah. So I looked at a number of texts, Quran and the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, in which he told us that there will be good surprise and bad surprise in the Day of Judgment. يَوْمَ تُبْلَى السَّرَائِرُ, Allah said in the Day of Judgment all secrets will be brought out. There will be no more secret. So one of the bad surprise, I will start with the bad surprise. Hopefully we can end with good surprises, and this may give us some hope. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Ghashiyah, عَامِلَةٌ نَاصِبَةٌ تَصْلَى نَارًا حَامِيَةً. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about some people who devoted their entire life in this dunya for worshipping their false gods. They deprived themselves from the pleasure of this dunya. They were praying and worshipping their false gods their entire life. But in the Day of Judgment they will find out that they were wrong. Umar radiallahu anhu one day passed by a monk and he cried, and they asked him, why you cry? He said, because I remember this ayah. عَامِلَةٌ, they work hard. نَاصِبَةٌ تَصْلَى نَارًا حَامِيَةً. They prayed so much and fasted so much, but in the Day of Judgment they will be in the hellfire. What a bad surprise for someone to work hard and to deprive himself from the pleasure of this dunya. In the Day of Judgment he will be in the hellfire. Also, the hadith that we know as hadith al-Muflis, in which Rasulullah ﷺ talked about the people from his ummah, are believers, Muslims. They come with mountains of good deeds. They spend money here, they donated there, they did Hajj, they did Umrah, and they prayed and made so many good deeds. But at the same time, they abused others in different ways. So all these people, the abused people, will come lining up in the Day of Judgment, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for justice. And of course, in the Day of Judgment, the only currency available there is good deeds and bad deeds, hasanat and sayyat. So they will take from all these mountains of good deeds, everybody will take based on the amount of abuse he received from him. And then the Prophet ﷺ said that all his good deeds will come to an end while still the line long. And then Rasulullah ﷺ said that because he running out of hasanat, then he will take their sayyat into his record. And then he will be bankrupt, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. This is the bankrupt people who come on the day of judgment with mountains of good deeds, but because they abused others, these good deeds will not help them. And that's a bad surprise. Because taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not only observing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and respecting his limits or hudud, but also not to abuse others. Huququllah and huquq al-ibad. Allah can easily forgive, his huquq. When his huquq is violated or not fulfilled, Allah can easily forgive this if he wants. But huquq al-ibad is much more difficult to be forgiven. That's a bad surprise, and I hope none of us will face this bad surprise. Taqwa of Allah is not only praying and worshipping. That's not enough. Taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is when we interact with people, treat people with respect, help others, never abuse others or backbite them or speak negatively about them or harm them one way or the other. And the hadith I mentioned last Friday, which is also very scary, Sahih Muslim, in which the Prophet ﷺ said the first people to be thrown in the hellfire is not Fir'aun or Haman. The first people who will be the fuel of the hellfire, because the more people are thrown there, the stronger the hellfire gets. So the first people will be thrown there are liars. People are not sincere. They appear sincere from outside, but they are not sincere. A scholar and a spender and a shaheed. Allah will bring them and will remind them of His favor. What did you do with all blessings that I provided for you? One will say, Allah, I spent my entire life seeking knowledge and teaching people for your sake. Allah will tell me, you are lying. You did this for the sake of fame and money and for people to say that he's a scholar, he's intelligent, he's smart. And this has been said. You have no reward today. You did this for the people, not for me. And the other person who is wealthy, or used to be wealthy in dunya, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remind him of his blessings. What did he do with it? Ya Allah, I spend in every way you like me to spend. Islamic centers, schools, here and there. Fi sabilik, in your sake, for your sake. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell him, no, you did not do that for my sake. You did this for people to say he's generous. And this has been said. And take him to the hellfire. The same thing will happen to a shaheed. Someone fought. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask him, what happened? What did you do with my blessings? And he will say that I fought fi sabilik, for your sake. And Allah will tell him, no, you fought just to be said he's brave. That was not for my sake, for your sake. And you have no reward today from me. These are the first people to be thrown in the hellfire. Those who have some sort of hypocrisy within themselves. Those who pay so much attention about how people see them, not how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees them. They work, they spend, they studied, but unfortunately they will be surprised that none of these things help them in the day of judgment. As for the good news, there are also plenty of good news. In the day of judgment, people will see things that they did not anticipate or imagine. Those who spend fi sabilillah sincerely, fi sabilillah, they will find out mountains of money that spend fi sabilillah, and they will say, Allah did not spend all this money. And Allah knows how much we spend. But because we spend with full sincerity, according to the hadith, when the person gives fi sabilillah, his left hand does not know what his right hand spent. This is how he keeps it secret and does not talk about it, does not want anybody to know about it. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take it and will invest this money. And this money will become huge wealth in the day of judgment, and he will be rewarded accordingly. That will be a very good surprise for many, for those who are sincere. In another hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us about someone from his ummah. Allah will bring him closer to him. And Allah will tell him that is the hisab yasir, that those have easy reckoning. Allah will bring this person, a believing man or believing woman. And Allah will remind them of the sins they have committed. Do you remember that sin on that day? Yes, Ya Allah, I remember. Do you remember that day you did this? Yes, Ya Allah, I admit. Do you remember that day? And the Prophet said Allah will keep reminding him of some of the minor sins. And this servant of Allah will tell himself what goes on in his mind, that how about the bigger issues? And he will think that he cannot make it. If Allah is reminding him of these minor small things, there are so many other major things. But the good surprise will be that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell him that I covered you in dunya, so nobody knows about it. And today I'll forgive you. Go and take your book with your right hand. Another beautiful hadith known in Islamic books of hadith as Hadith al-Bitaqa. Bitaqa means the card. A person will be brought, a believing person, will be brought in the day of judgment with 99 records. His entire life is placed in 99 records, full of bad deeds, horrible things. And Allah will tell him, do you deny any of these deeds? He says, no. Have you been wronged? Did the angel wrote something that he did not do? He said, no, everything I admit, I've done all these bad things. Then Allah will ask, do you have any argument, any excuse? He says, no, I have no excuse. And then Allah will tell him that you will never be wronged. You still have something. And this something is the card. That will be weighed against the bad deeds. And this person will say, Ya Allah, what would this card do against all these 99 records that's full of bad deeds? Allah will tell him that you will not be wronged. And this bitaqa will be placed against all these bad deeds and will be much heavier. Will be much heavier, these bad deeds. And this person will say, what's in there? What's in this bitaqa? You know what's in there? Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hadith Sahih Tirmidhi. That will be another very big surprise to this person. That he knows that I'm not going to make it. But because of his tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he died as a person who believes sincerely that is La ilaha illallah and Muhammad is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I will end with this other good surprise that will happen also on the day of judgment, when the believers will come who used to have disputes, disagreements, fighting, going to courts, animosity maybe. And they're both believers. They do righteous good deeds, they believe in Allah and they love the Prophet. But they had all these disputes never settled in this dunya. The hearts were full of hatred, and disagreements and disputes. Justice is not served in dunya. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring both of them. One of them tells him, Ya Allah, he did this to me, he did this and that to me. I need my right. And he insists that he wants to get his right and for justice to be served. And because the other person is also a believer, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most merciful. Then to solve this problem, or to resolve this dispute between two believing individuals, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell the person who has been wronged, look at this palace. And Allah will show him a palace that no one can ever imagine how beautiful and big it is. And then this person was asked, whose prophet's palace is this? It must be a palace of a prophet or a shaheed or one of the salihin. And Allah will tell him, this is the palace of the person who can pay the price. And he will say, Ya Allah, who can pay the price for this? He said, you. You can't pay this price if you forgive your brother. Ya Allah, yes, I'll forgive him. If this is the case, I'll forgive him. And then Allah will tell him, take the hand of your brothers and walk together to Jannah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to purify our hearts and to purify our intention and grant us ikhlas. That is the secret for our a'mal to be accepted. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive all our sins, and may we experience plenty of good surprises in the day of judgment and never experience any bad surprise in the day of judgment. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم، وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. عباد الله اتقوا الله وأطيعوه، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله يذكركم، اشكروه على نعمه يزدكم، ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. Before we conclude, tonight inshallah we have for our youth very important lecture this Jumma and next Jumma by a historian. Our dear brother Professor Saeed Khan will come inshallah tonight and next Friday to summarize Islamic history for our high school students Hearts and Minds program. So again, the invitation is open for high school students to come and join inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm sure they will benefit tremendously from these lectures. And then inshallah we'll go back to our Islamic studies lectures after these two Jum'ahs inshallah. اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى، اللهم إنا نسألك رزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا، اللهم أصلح لنا ديننا الذي هو عصمة أمرنا، وأصلح لنا دنيانا التي فيها معاشنا، وأصلح لنا آخرتنا التي إليها معادنا، اللهم اجعل الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير، اللهم اجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر، يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك أستغيث، يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك نستغيث، وأصلح لنا شأننا كله، اللهم لا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين ولا إلى أحد من الناس يا رب العالمين، اللهم اجعل خير أعمالنا خواتمها، واجعل خير أيامنا وأسعدها يوم نلقاك وأنت راض عنا يا رب العالمين، اللهم إنا نسألك الجنة وما قرب إليها من قول وعمل، ونعوذ بك من النار وما قرب إليها من قول وعمل، اللهم إنا نسألك من الخير كله عاجله وآجله ما علمنا منه وما لم نعلم، ونعوذ بك من الشر كله عاجله وآجله ما علمنا منه وما لم نعلم، اللهم إنا نسألك الإخلاص في القول والعمل والسر والعلن، اللهم اجعل سرنا خيرا من علانيتنا واجعل علانيتنا خيرا، اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية في الدين والدنيا والآخرة، اللهم استر عوراتنا وآمن روعاتنا، اللهم احفظنا بحفظك واكلأنا بعنايتك ورعايتك يا رب العالمين وأرحم الراحمين. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين.